Larry Bird didn't just stir the pot. He flipped the entire table with a few brutal words LeBron James never expected to hear. Stop pretending you're the GOAT. No warning. No sugarcoating. The Boston Celtics icon went straight for the crown, and what followed sent shockwaves through the basketball world. This wasn't some washed-up legend taking cheap shots at a new generation. This was Larry Legend doing what he's always done best, talking his trash and backing it up with cold, uncomfortable truths. One by one, he laid out his case, and the arguments hit so hard that even LeBron's most devoted supporters started to hesitate. What makes it even crazier is how quietly it began, almost unnoticed at first, before erupting into what has now become the biggest basketball controversy of 2025. Larry Bird, a man whose legacy was built on confidence, championships, and fearless honesty, finally addressed the question everyone keeps dancing around. LeBron James calling himself the greatest of all time. And Larry? He wasn't buying it, not for a second. In a rare sit-down that surfaced in January 2025, Larry Bird didn't merely challenge LeBron James' claim to the GOAT title, he tore it apart. Stop pretending you're the GOAT, Bird said, leaning back with the same icy confidence he once used before calling his shot and draining it anyway. If you want to be part of the conversation, fine. But don't act like it's settled when the numbers say otherwise. The room reportedly fell dead silent. When Larry Bird talks, people don't interrupt. They absorb. This wasn't a click-hungry pundit chasing controversy. This was a three-time NBA champion, a three-time MVP, and one of the most ruthless closers the league has ever seen, telling the modern king that his crown doesn't quite fit. The internet erupted instantly. Social media caught fire as LeBron's supporters rushed to his defense, firing back with accusations, calling Bird bitter, outdated, and threatened by LeBron's longevity. But the louder the backlash got, the more one thing became clear. Larry Bird had struck a nerve. And once that nerve was exposed, the GOAT debate wasn't just reopened, it was wide open again. But Bird's supporters weren't scrambling, they came armed. Receipts flooded the timeline. Finals records, clutch time highlight reels, side-by-side breakdowns of supporting casts, and deep dives into how brutal each era really was. This stopped being a matter of opinion. In their eyes, Larry Bird hadn't just spoken. He declared open war on LeBron James' legacy, and he showed up fully loaded. This is where Bird drove the blade in even deeper. He went straight to the ultimate scoreboard in basketball: championships. LeBron has 4 rings. Bird has 3. On the surface, that sounds like a win for LeBron, until Bird reframed the entire argument. The problem, he implied, is that people look at the total and never ask the tougher questions. How were those rings won? Who stood in your way? And did you build something lasting, or bounce from situation to situation chasing the perfect setup? That's when Bird's point really landed. Every one of his championships came with the same core, the same foundation, the same identity. To Bird, and to those backing him, that wasn't just winning titles. That was building a dynasty. Same city, same franchise, same loyalty. Larry Bird never left Boston to chase help. LeBron James? He won his 4 championships across 3 different teams: Miami, Cleveland, and Los Angeles, each time aligning himself with elite talent or stepping into star-ready situations. And Bird didn't mince words about it. I didn't call Magic Johnson and ask him to team up. I didn't recruit other MVPs to come save me. We built something in Boston and we went to war with what we had. That meant something, at least it used to. The comparison cut deep because it wasn't built on emotion, it was built on facts. Bird, McHale, and Parrish, that was the foundation. They drafted smart, grew together, and turned chemistry into dominance throughout the 1980s. And this wasn't an easy road. Every finals run meant surviving a gauntlet of giants. Magic's Lakers, the bad boy Pistons, Dr. J's Sixers. No shortcuts. No reboots. LeBron's journey, Bird argued, tells a different story. In his view, greatness isn't just about collecting rings, it's about how you earn them. And you don't get to crown yourself the greatest of all time when you had to change teams 3 times to finish the job. That's not building a legacy, that's chasing one. And there's a difference. Bird didn't hesitate to draw the line. Then he went straight for one of the most painful chapters in LeBron's career, the 2011 NBA Finals. A Heat super team heavily favored. A young Dallas squad. 6 games later, LeBron was walking off the floor without a title. Bird didn't dance around it. The greatest of all time doesn't disappear in the finals, he said bluntly. Michael didn't. Magic didn't. I didn't. And then came the numbers, the kind you can't spin. LeBron James is 4-6 in the NBA Finals. 10 appearances, more losses than wins. Bird posed the question everyone already knew the answer to. You think Jordan goes 4-6? Not a chance. The comparison was ruthless. LeBron, 4-6. Bird, 3-2. Jordan, a flawless 6-0. To Bird, the conclusion was obvious. If you're truly the greatest of all time, you don't lose more finals than you win. Period. But Bird wasn't done. Rings were only part of it. What he went after next hit even closer to home: LeBron's leadership. Leadership isn't pointing fingers. It isn't jumping ship when things get hard, Bird said. And that's when the interview took a turn. The tone shifted. The smiles disappeared. Because now, Bird wasn't just questioning LeBron's resume, he was questioning the man leading the locker room. And suddenly, things got very uncomfortable. Leadership is about making the people around you better, Bird said. It's sacrifice. It's showing up when the lights are brightest and your team needs you most. He pointed to his own career as the blueprint. Around Bird, role players didn't just survive, they became legends. Dennis Johnson grew into a Hall of Famer. Kevin McHale evolved into one of the most dominant post players the game has ever seen. Even Robert Parrish, already a star, reached another level in Boston's system with Bird as the centerpiece. I made my teammates better by being unselfish, Bird explained. I passed when they had the better shot. I set screens. I did the dirty work. That's leadership. The message was clear: greatness isn't just about what shows up in the box score. Then came the contrast. LeBron is phenomenal at putting up numbers. I'll give him that, Bird admitted. But when things go sideways, there's always an explanation. The teammates weren't good enough. The front office failed. The coach didn't have the right system. To Bird, that pattern said everything. Stats can tell part of the story, but leadership, he argued, reveals the truth. Then came Bird's most damaging blow: the LeGM criticism that has followed LeBron for years. In Bird's eyes, you can't claim to be the greatest player ever while also acting as the shadow general manager. You don't get to be both, Bird said. Forcing your team to trade away young talent for aging stars that fit your timeline? That's not leadership, that's control. And when it blows up, you don't get to point fingers. You ask for that power. Own the results. The evidence, Bird argued, is everywhere. LeBron's fingerprints are all over roster decisions in Miami, Cleveland, and Los Angeles, shipping out young assets for win-now veterans, pushing for hand-picked coaches, and lobbying for specific free agent signings. And when those situations eventually unraveled, LeBron moved on to the next chapter. Bird never did. He spent his entire career with one franchise, trusted the front office, and helped build something that lasted. That's what legends do, Bird said simply. They don't run. They don't make excuses, Bird said. They win with what they've got, or they go down swinging. To him, the leadership debate goes far beyond playbooks and rotations. It's about mentality. And Bird believes that, for all of LeBron's accomplishments, his mindset doesn't line up with the true GOATs of the game. That's when the argument really heated up. Bird shifted to eras, and he held nothing back. The competition I faced every night was Hall of Famers, he said. Magic and the Lakers, Isaiah and the Pistons, Julius Erving, Moses Malone, Dominique Wilkins. There were no nights off, no easing into games. Every possession was a battle. You couldn't coast through the regular season and magically flip a switch in the playoffs. Bird's point was unmistakable. The 1980s and early 90s were a different animal. The league was smaller, the talent more concentrated. Fewer teams meant stacked rosters across the board. There was no escaping the gauntlet. You had to run straight through it. But Bird isn't impressed with LeBron's era. To him, the competition was watered down. The Eastern Conference during most of LeBron's prime? A joke, Bird said bluntly. Who was he beating to get to the finals year after year? The Pacers, the Hawks, the Raptors, before Kawhi even showed up. Come on. I had to go through Magic, Kareem, and Worthy just for a shot at a ring. LeBron? He was practically walking there for almost a decade. The numbers seemed to support his point. From 2011 to 2018, LeBron made 8 straight finals appearances. But Bird argues context matters. The Eastern Conference offered no dynasty teams, no stacked rosters with multiple MVP caliber players blocking his path, just decent teams that couldn't match LeBron's firepower. And when he finally faced true competition in the finals, Bird doesn't let him off the hook. 4-6. He got there easily, and lost when it counted. That's not the mark of the greatest ever, Bird said. That's the mark of a guy who dominated a weak conference and struggled when the competition was elite. Then came the physicality argument, the one that always sparks generational debate. The game today is softer, Bird continued, and you could practically hear LeBron fans bracing for impact. I'm not saying LeBron couldn't play in my era, but he wouldn't dominate the same way. Hand-checking was legal. You could throw your body around. Defenses could be physical without getting whistled on every possession. LeBron is 6 feet 9 inches, 250 pounds of athleticism, but put him in the 80s, where defenders could actually touch him. That's a different conversation. Agree with him or not, Bird's point is clear. Context matters. Competition matters. And from Bird's perspective, LeBron's path to greatness was far less treacherous than his own. That's not the mark of the greatest ever, Bird said. That's the mark of a guy who dominated a weak conference and struggled against elite competition. Then he hit the physicality debate, the one that always splits generations. The game today is softer, Bird said, and you could practically hear LeBron fans bracing. I'm not saying LeBron couldn't play in my era, but he wouldn't dominate the same way. Hand-checking was legal. You could throw your body around. Defenses could be physical without getting called for a foul every possession. LeBron is 6 feet 9 inches, 250 pounds of athleticism, but put him in the 80s, where defenders could actually touch him. That's a whole different story. Agree with him or not, Bird's point is simple. Context matters, competition matters, and in his eyes, LeBron's path to greatness was far easier than his own. LeBron is too calculated, too safe, Bird argued. He'd rather make the right basketball play than take full responsibility himself. And sometimes the right play is to be selfish, put the team on your back and say, "We're winning because of me." Bird believes LeBron doesn't do that enough. He also hammered home leadership under pressure. When things got tough in Boston, I didn't ask for trades. I didn't complain about teammates. I worked harder. I found ways to win, Bird said. That's what the greats do. They adapt. They overcome. LeBron? Bird sees him switching teams when the going gets tough. These intangibles, clutch performance, mental toughness, leadership, resilience, don't show up on the stat sheet. But Bird insists they separate the GOAT from the rest. And in his eyes, LeBron comes up short. So where does this leave the basketball world? Larry Bird just dropped a nuclear bomb on LeBron's legacy, and the fallout is chaos. LeBron's camp? Mostly silent. No rebuttals, no fiery statements, just business as usual. Workout videos, brand promotions, staying above the fray. But that silence is loud. Because when you claim to be the greatest of all time, and a legend like Larry Bird systematically dismantles that claim, saying nothing almost feels like conceding the point, fans have split down the middle. And as expected, it's generational warfare. Older fans who grew up on Bird, Magic, and Jordan are nodding along. Finally, someone said it, LeBron is great, but he's not the greatest. Larry Bird just exposed the truth. But younger fans, the ones who grew up with LeBron, are furious. Bird's just a hater, they say. He can't stand that LeBron passed him. 4 rings for Finals MVPs, all-time leading scorer, the stats don't lie. They point to his longevity, his all-around game, and his ability to dominate even at age 40. All fair points. But here's what makes Bird's words so explosive. This isn't some hot take analyst chasing clicks. This is Larry freaking Bird, a top 10 player of all time, a 3-time champion, a 3-time MVP, publicly saying LeBron doesn't deserve the GOAT label. That carries weight. And the implications? Massive. If legends like Bird refuse to acknowledge LeBron as the greatest, what does that mean for his legacy? Can you truly claim GOAT status if the generation before you won't hand it over? Or is every era forced to crown its own king, making the debate eternal and ultimately unresolved? Bird's final verdict was simple and unyielding. LeBron James is phenomenal, one of the best ever. But the GOAT? No. That throne belongs to Michael Jordan. 6 finals wins, 5 MVPs, unmatched clutch performances. The standard hasn't been broken. LeBron can chase it all he wants, but in Bird's eyes he's not catching it. And the sooner people stop pretending otherwise, the better. Here's the question tearing the basketball world apart right now. Is Larry Bird right? Does LeBron's legacy crumble when you look beyond the stats? Consider the team hopping, the finals losses, the moments where the killer instinct seemed absent? Or is Bird just another old-school legend who can't accept that the game has evolved, and LeBron is the most complete player we've ever seen? Drop your thoughts in the comments and be honest. Are you Team Bird or Team LeBron? Because after what Larry just said, sitting on the fence isn't an option anymore. The GOAT debate just got a lot messier. Larry Bird didn't just throw shade, he unleashed a storm. And whether you agree with him or not, one thing is certain. This conversation is far from over.